Hello and welcome to Evening News with me, Jaisha Name. In tonight's top stories, Villafushi MP Riaz Rashid has withdrawn the amendments he had proposed to the Act on privileges and protection provided by the state to former presidents. Environment Minister Tariq Ibrahim says that a sum of 3.9 million rupiah has been spent from the state budget so far on providing water to islands that face supply shortages. Hiriga Ahmed Zahid has resigned as president of Maldives Journalists Association, MJA, in the wake of the third failed attempt to hold elections to elect the association's steering committee. Villafushi MP Riaz Rashid has withdrawn the amendments he had proposed to the Act on Privileges and Protection provided by the state to former presidents. MP Riaz withdrew his amendment bill after having debated on it at today's Parliament sitting. Riaz said that the amendments were even proposed to the 17th Parliament and that the MPs then had not passed the bill due to certain issues in it. He said that the bill had not been amended well when it was submitted to the current Parliament and that the bill is being withdrawn for further revision. The amendment bill states that any former president who encourages or orchestrates any activity that threatens the sovereignty of the state or violates the law shall be denied all privileges. Environment Minister Tariq Ibrahim says that a sum of 3.9 million rupiah has been spent from the state budget so far on providing water to islands that face supply shortages. Responding to questions posed by MPs at today's Parliament sitting, Minister Tariq said that water shortage is a serious issue faced by some islands during the hot season and that the government is trying to find a long-term solution to the issue. He said that efforts are underway to ensure long-term water supply for these islands by 2016. He said that the government spent 3.8 million rupiah to provide water to 82 islands which faced shortages last year, and that so far this year, a sum of 3.9 million rupiah has been spent to provide water to 75 islands. Minister Tariq said that work is underway to establish sewerage systems in 3 islands and water supply systems in 6 islands. The minister declined to answer many questions posed at today's sitting, as he had been asked the same questions on previous occasions after being summoned to the 18th Parliament at several instances. Hiriga Ahmed Zahid has resigned as president of Maldives Journalists Association, MJA, in the wake of the third failed attempt to hold elections to elect the association's steering committee. In his resignation letter to MJA's Vice President Ali Shaman, Zahid has said that the reason for his resignation was the failure to hold the association's steering committee elections 3 times in a row, despite numerous efforts. However, Zahid said he would make every effort to hold the elections in his capacity as one of the association's founding members. Zahid added that during his 2-year term as president of MJA, the association had gained both local and international recognition and that an unprecedented number of training opportunities were provided to local journalists. He pledged to continue facilitating more opportunities for local reporters in future. Meanwhile, MJA has had a string of unsuccessful meetings to elect members to its steering committee. A group of members obstructed last night's meeting at Youth Centre, claiming that several journalists were absent as they had not been informed of the meeting. MJA, however, said that the meeting was announced on its website after a 15-day period, as required by the association's regulations. The orchestrators of the coup attack on 3rd November 1988, along with their allies, are masking the facts and realities of the attack before the public eye. Here is a special report on the issue.
The wound is still fresh. The pain is unforgotten. The memories continue to haunt. The mercenary attacks in November 1988 left an indelible mark on the hearts of Maldivians. 19 innocent Maldivians were killed using guns and pistols, weapons they had never seen before. On 3rd November 1988, Maldivian soldiers showed remarkable strength and courage in the face of enemies much akin to the crusade of Porta Kurfan against Portuguese invaders. 19-year-old Hussein Adam showed no fear, no hesitation before using his chest as a shield against the barrage of bullets. Lying in a pool of blood, his only request was for more bullets and weapons to counter the attackers. This clearly was a battle fought for the country's independence. However, today we are seeing that the orchestrators of the attacks and the people linked to them are doing everything they can to mask the reality surrounding the event. It is not only because former President Nasheed's uncle was involved in the attacks that we say the Nasheed administration was linked to 3rd November. There are many reasons. After coming to power, Nasheed appointed 3 key orchestrators of the attack to top government positions. While Amin Faisal was made the defense minister, Abdullah Shahid, who played an active role in the attacks, was made the state minister for defense. Omar Jamal was given a top position at the president's office. Moreover, the Nasheed administration axed the annual Victory Day celebrations in a move many believe was made to undermine the respect and love for the 19 martyrs who lost their lives. Even though the occasion was marked by the defense forces, the government did nothing except trying to whitewash the involvement of its top officials in the attacks. In addition, the Nasheed administration released key orchestrators Abdullah Latif and Sagar Nasir on medical paroles while they had been serving prison sentences. Although Sagar Nasir was later found and put back to jail, Lutfi is still on the loose. Although there is a notion that the case was closed with the imprisonment of those involved, actions of the Nasheed administration prove that the threat of rebels is far more widespread and well-seated in the country's political scene. Today, the greatest disappointment is the country's failure to execute the perpetrators of the attacks who had clearly demonstrated hate and insincerity towards their own country. Even after 25 years, the terror, the shock and the pain have still not diminished.
Welcome back. Police say that efforts to find missing Minuan News reporter Ahmad Rilwan are going robust and that they have searched a number of locations as part of the efforts. According to police, residential areas, industrial zones and uninhabited areas in Hulumale have been searched in their efforts to find Rilwan. Some flats and guest houses were also inspected for evidence. Police say that while a large area of the Hulumale reef has also been checked, vessels travelling between or docked at Male and Hulumale are also being checked. Various locations in Male and some uninhabited islands in the region are also being checked based on information received by the public. Meanwhile, family members and friends of Rilwan Abdullah gathered outside the Parliament building today to protest the lack of progress in efforts to find him. At the peaceful gathering today, Rilwan's mother Amnat Isa presented a letter on behalf of his family to the Parliament. Rilwan's mother and his elder brother Musa Rilwan spoke to reporters at the scene. In the letter, Rilwan's family requested Parliament Speaker Abdullah Masih to summon the police commissioner to Parliament and demand answers from the police commissioner about the search. In the letter, the family also expressed discontent about the lack of communication on behalf of the police with the family on progress being made in their efforts. Ahmad Rilwan was last seen on the early hours of the 8th of August at the Hulumale ferry terminal in Male. Police have urged the public to report any information on Rilwan's whereabouts to them immediately. Home Ministry has fined some associations by a sum of 1,500 rupiah and allowed them to return to the regulations in accordance with the Associations Act. According to Home Ministry, there are some associations that have not submitted their annual reports and statements for 2 years consecutively or elected new steering committees and reported to the ministry for 2 years. Such associations have been allowed to return to the regulations by December 2014. This comes at a time when, in a recent interview, Attorney General Mohammed Anil has described the current Associations Act as one that contradicts the Constitution, stating that associations must be allowed to function without official registration. The new Sri Lankan ambassador to the Maldives, Mr. W.G.N.H. Dias, has presented his credentials to President Abdullah Yameen. At the ceremony held at the President's office this morning, discussions were held on advancing the close bilateral relations shared by Maldives and Sri Lanka, especially in the field of health and sports. In addition, the new Bhutanese ambassador to the Maldives, Ms. Pema Chodron, also presented her credentials to President Yameen this morning. At the ceremony, President Yameen noted the close bilateral ties enjoyed by Maldives and Bhutan and expressed hope that the relationship would further flourish during the ambassador's time in office. Discussions were also held on extending mutual cooperation in bringing issues faced by small states to the attention of the international community. Islamic Minister Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed says that the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria, ISIS, will not be allowed to operate in the Maldives. In a tweet he posted last night, the minister has described ISIS as an extremist organization who will not be allowed to operate in the country in any form. The minister has made the statement at a time when rumors are rife that there's a group of Maldivians supporting the ISIS and its activities. The Islamic State, IS, is said to be an Al-Qaeda breakaway group that has established what it calls a caliphate across stretches of territory in Iraq and Syria. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening.